Well, hello everyone. It is tonight. Andy has prior commitments, so I'm what you get. Hopefully that'll do. Anyway, uh, let's see here. We have uh, we have a just terribly interesting subject. Okay, I'm trying to poof it up a bit. Today we're going to go over some simple science, but um, we believe there's benefit to this sort of thing, understanding all aspects of how the world works. And on that note, I will welcome everyone, and I will show you a little baby-sized Stirling engine, so you can see what we're going to be talking about. Here's the little fella now. Often described as an external combustion engine, for obvious reasons. We can plainly see the combustion is occurring externally. I got this one quite a while ago, just came across it and decided to make a nice project to build a somewhat larger one. So yes, you can expect to hear about that in the not too distant future. Alright, I would say that's about enough of that. Hopefully everyone is hearing me okay. If somebody wants to let me know, please do. We haven't had issues with this before, but never hurts to check. Alrighty, let's find the images for this, and we'll go into how these little fellows work. This is really going to be a shorter show. This is not an overly complicated issue, so let's get started here. Here we go. All right. Hope you don't mind my the title is just ever so entertaining to me. So, oh look, a lot of our regulars coming back. Nice to see. Alrighty. If somebody wants to tell me if my audio is okay, I would be most happy, because I'd hate to go through this whole presentation twice. Alright, well, I'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see. If there are issues, I'm sure somebody will let me know. Let's get the comment window up so I can see what... Okay, thanks, Bo. Alright. Anyway, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about the Stirling engine. It's actually a very interesting and very simple device. And let's go through very quickly how the little fellow works. Here we go. And no making fun of my PowerPoint skills or lack thereof. Actually, I'm kidding. Make fun of it all you want. Here we go. Alrighty. There's really only a couple of steps involved in the production of energy. In my highly technical diagram, you will see in red a crankshaft. In the larger blue area is a very lightweight displacer. It's loosely fit into a cylinder so that air can get around it as it's moved. Additionally, you have the smaller blue rectangle is a piston, which is somewhat more tightly fit to an expansion cylinder. This is what actually provides the drive. Very, very simple process. The first step, as you can see from my heat source, which in this case is a candle, would heat the base of this larger rectangle in black. If you notice, the displacer is near the top, so there's very little air above it in this closed system, and quite a bit below. So the air in the larger cylinder in this area heats and expands. Now, when this happens, it's allowed to escape through a connecting tube between these two cylinders and produces a higher pressure on the top above this piston. This increased air pressure pushes the piston downward. Here's the increased air pressure. I know it looks like a cloud, but it's increased air pressure. Trust me on this one. When that happens, that piston pulling the crank downward, pulling the crankshaft downward also pushes the displacer downward. You'll note that now there's very little air in the heated area of this cylinder, and most of the air is on the other side where it can cool off. Now, in an actual one, to make it more efficient, you'd have some radiating fins or something to disperse the heat, but it's basically how it works. At this point, the air cools, producing a vacuum, and yes, that's a lady with a vacuum. That's the only image I could find to represent a vacuum. The air contracts and provides suction to pull the piston back up. So the piston is actually powered on both strokes. And then the cycle repeats. Believe it or not, that's it. That is how this is what causes a Stirling engine to function. Now, let us go back and take a look at the one we had running here. And we'll start it up again and see if you can identify that which we just discussed. You see the displacer moving back and forth, moving the air from the heated area to the radiating area, causing it to expand and contract. And the piston on the other side doing pretty much what we talked about. It's pushed in one direction and then drawn back when the air cools and contracts. So that's it. And I know many of you, actually, since I know most of you, I could probably say all of you may have already known this before we even started. For those of you who didn't, that's pretty much how it functions. Let's see. Would anyone have any questions? Let's see. Bo, that's a good question. I have not tried such a thing. Let's see. Just seeing if there are any other questions. Okay, Baron, do you mean for energy production? Would this be more or less efficient than a solar panel? Well, since you need fuel for this, well, you need fuel for a solar panel as well, but fortunately, that's photons, and we don't have to provide those. They come from the sun. So since I have to spend money to run this thing, I would go with the solar panels. All right. Yes, apparently you folks are already quite familiar with this device. All right. As a generator, yeah, actually, I attached a couple of small magnets to either side, and it does generate a small. It'll light an LED. This one, the one you see here. Let's see. Sunlight to power this. Well, see, one could do that. One could. If you're talking about using like a large Fresnel lens or something of that sort to focus the solar energy to a smaller area so it heats it up, yes, that would work. That would work fine. Um, that would one could easily do such a thing. Of course, you'd have to have a tracking mechanism, so track the sun across the sky. You'd probably produce a fair amount of energy that way. Um, Not a bad idea. And this one's actually small enough to mount on a telescope mount. I may try that. All right, very good. Let's see. Practical use. Factard. Meant okay. Interestingly enough, this was this was brought to my attention. I didn't just know this. This was brought to my attention. Um, that a Stirling engine is actually used as an air-independent propulsion system in Gotland-class submarines in the Swedish Navy. I found that extremely interesting because as I assume many of you did, this is just an amusement. Apparently, it's not. Um, this was the first large-scale practical application um, that I'm aware of. Um, I'm sure people use them for generators and things of that sort, but pushing a submarine, that's big. Um, and how that one is powered, the heat source for that is apparently liquid oxygen and diesel fuel. The submarine it drives is a diesel electric anyway, um, but the goal was to increase the amount of time they could spend, uh, deep underwater, and did not have to have a snorkel leading up to the surface or anything like that. So I did find that quite interesting. All right, let's see. The dimensions on this little one. It's a tiny little fella. The entire thing is about 5 inches end to end. Not a big item at all. Anyway, I'll just keep looking at the chat for any other additional questions. But other than that, I guess that's the show. Okay, goodbye all. Just kidding. See, to me, that's hilarious. We do have one other bit of, well, let's just say important information to give out, don't we? I believe we have two winners that, let's see here. Let's see if I have a picture of what the prize was. Here we go. Yeah, it's about time to announce the two people who were randomly selected, and it was random. It was completely random. Well, no, it was pseudo random because I used an app. I used a random a random number generator app on the phone. Because any attempt at doing it myself, I would be unable to randomly pick. Hell, if I had to pick, I'd pick all of you, and that would get a little on the pricey side. So, let us announce the winners of the mini musical Tesla coil kit. And let's see, here's the list. Okay, I can delay it no longer. The winners of this month's giveaway are, in fact, Bo Holbo and Freighter Chaos. That's it. Congratulations, guys. I do hope you have a good time making these little things. It's a quick little project, and we'd really like to see some videos so we can show them off here. That's and here. Why don't we? I think I have a video here somewhere of the little thing functioning. the one that I had built. Let's see where the heck it is. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the little fella. And those of you familiar with the song know this does not mean it's 5 in the morning. And this is it producing the produces the audio by varying the intensity of the ionized air at the discharge point. Anyway, so there we go. Once again, congratulations to our 2 winners. Okay. Yes, Bo. That would be Andy. Videos on how not to get hurt. Anyway, good thing about these little kits is they are relatively safe little things. It'll if you actually are unwise enough to poke the spark, you may get a little mildly painful jolt and a little RF burn. So I don't recommend doing it, but it won't kill you, which is really the point. All right, that's it, and I was going to put out a teaser for what next month's giveaway thingy is going to be, but I decided against it. we'll let Andy announce that next week, I guess. You can if you like, but trust me, it's best not to. It's best not to touch it. Now, I won't tell you how I know that, but it's best not to. Alrighty. Okay, you know what? That's actually all I have for this week. The Stirling engine was it's a nice simple concept, but it's kind of elegant. It's kind of elegant. It's something that simple can function and function well. Damn it, Steven caught me. Well, what did you think I was going to do? You guys know me. Okay. Yes, Bo, that's true. 2.5 kilowatt boat anchor. Of course, we're limited to 2 kilowatts over here, so I always have to ratchet those back a little bit anyway. All right. On that note, let's see. Did I no, no, Stephen? I did not actually say zap zap, but I was thinking it. There was I may have had one of those thought bubbles above the head. That and the traditional goddammit, which I'm famous for. Alrighty. That's it's Bo. We're limited to 2 kilowatts output at the antenna. That's where it's supposed to be measured. So you can't. No one does, but you can actually filter factor in transmission line loss and all that sort of thing. Nobody does, but for anybody that doesn't know, we're talking ham radio stuff here. Anyway, yeah, it is effective radiating power. Anyway, that's what I got. If there's any other questions, anything of that sort, now's the time to post them. Or is that through a let's see, as I understand it, Scientist Mel is doing a rather interesting talk. I may head over there and see what she has to say. Let's see. Magic's getting around the world with 5 watts or less. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I've done that sort of thing. You know what? We got to do a ham radio show. What the heck was it? Oh, yeah. There was quite a few years ago, somebody on the web put up I just came across it was a contest. What can you build in an Altoids tin? So I threw together a little QRP transmitter, and I think I actually where the heck did I think I did a CW contact in Germany, I believe. I'd have to look through the logbooks. It was quite a while ago. Anyway, alrighty. Well, I guess once again I will congratulate the two winners, Bo and Freighter. I'm sure you will enjoy yourselves with these little fellas, and like I said, we expect to see some videos of your successes so we can brag on them a bit. And all right, I believe that's it. Oh, here, let me throw in a link to. Here we go. Let me throw in a link to Scientist Mel here, just in case. I'm heading over there, and I think she'd love to see some of you guys over there too. The discussion she's doing is on what is it? The science of gun violence. Now remember, she's a scientist, so she's not. I know her. She's not going to be preaching or anything of that sort. So that is where I shall be heading. And hopefully I'll see a few of you guys over there. Here's the link. And don't forget, YouTube screws up links. You may have to chop off some random characters at the end to get it to work. But it's Scientist Mel's channel. I'm heading over there. All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And we will see you next week, where we'll have something interesting for you. Pretty much guarantee that. All right. And do have a good week, all of you. Just kidding. It's still not 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway. Eat. Howdy. Haven't seen you in a little while. Very good. Oh, yeah. Maybe they do YouTube channels accurately. That would be a good thing. Alrighty. Do have a nice week, everybody.